Hello, icons and future icons, to our webinar. We do this twice a month, guys. And this week, we're going to talk about how to get listings in a low inventory market with actionable strategies, tactics that you can implement. And I mean right now to get that next listing. And as you know, everything starts with a listing. All right, so I've got some great panelists with us today. We've got Rick Jansen. We got David Torgerson, Kevin Yoder. We got a couple of other people that are going to join us just momentarily, like Colette Mcdonald, as well as Eric Orland. So guys, welcome to our webinar. Rick, why don't you introduce yourself just real fast?
Rick Jansen, realtor in Denver, Colorado, Harris certified coach, and 6-time 5-star award winner.
Kevin Yoder.
Kevin Yoder, team leader, Yoder Real Estate, powered by EXP in Grand Rapids, Michigan, 20-year real estate veteran, Bob Proctor certified consultant.
Love it. Love Bob Proctor, by the way. Great guy. David Torgerson, last and certainly not least. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, David Torgerson. I'm in Helena, Montana. I run Versant Real Estate Group with EXP. I've been in the industry for 15 years and 2-time Icon Award.
Love it. Welcome, welcome. We've got Colette Mcdonald, who just joined us. Perfect timing, Colette. Welcome to our webinar. Go ahead and introduce yourself real fast.
Hey guys, Colette Mcdonald here. I'm out of Atlanta, Georgia. I've been selling real estate second generation for 19 years. In the top 5% of all agents here in Atlanta, and have a team of 23 agents.
And the only approved realtor for the Atlanta Falcons organization, right? She gets to work with these celebrity type status. In fact, she's a celebrity all on her own, right? I mean, she's HGTV. I mean, she's all over the place, guys. So
I actually have a CNN anchor right now putting an offer in on one of my listings. So it's such a relevant conversation tonight.
I love it. Love it. Okay. So we've all formed this little group, guys. We call it Icon Producers. And it's a team of people, but it's not a team in the traditional sense. Okay, what I mean by a team is that, see, everyone together, everyone achieves more. We've all heard the acronym, right? And yet we're a collective group of like-minded agents that are here to support one another, to help each one of us improve our personal production in the process. So in a moment, I'm going to tell you how you could align with our community absolutely free of charge. And we want to coach you. We want to train you. We want to make certain that you have the knowledge, the skills, the mindset, the habits to really just double, triple, even quadruple your real estate production. Today, we're talking about how to generate listings right now in this lower inventory market. So I'm just going to open it to the group right now. What is your number one strategy to take new listings in this market?
I'll jump in. So this market is changing so quickly, right? I always tell my clients it changes every couple of weeks, I feel like. And currently with my past client database, what I've been proactively doing is just a simple text. I do at least 5 a day to my past clients in my sphere. And it's basically this: hey, isn't it crazy what's happening in your neighborhood with values? And that opens up a conversation. Because like you say, Sean, every conversation leads to another appointment, which leads to another closing.
I love it. So just 5 text messages every day to people in your sphere of influence, past clients, customers. And by doing that, Colette, how many appointments on average, listing appointments, are you gaining every week?
I have an average of 3 listing appointments per week, and currently I have 10 that are in the 30-day cycle. So my 30-day cycle is coming soon advertising, getting the stager in there, scheduling for videos and for photos so that they'll be on the market within 30 days.
All right, so you sent this text message. Isn't it crazy what's happening in your neighborhood with property values? And you just send a question. What do they generally respond with? I want to hear.
They're like, can you tell me how much my house is worth? And I'm like, absolutely. And that starts the conversation. And then they start to talk about what they want to do next. You know, like I have a client right now that wasn't even considering like moving to the beach for another 10 years. But because they can now with technology work so efficiently and effectively, they are actually going to execute that plan much sooner. And based upon the numbers, they were so shocked and awed and excited that they're putting the pedal to the metal and getting their house ready for market.
That is such a great idea, Colette. And so simple, guys. Success is simple, right? It's just not easy. So it's a commitment, 5 text messages every single day. Now, Colette, have you ever tried video text messaging? I'm just curious.
I love video text messaging through Bomb is what I've used in the past, and other people have different programs and platforms, but it gives a little bit more of a sense of, hey, she's really trying to connect with me. This is not a blanket text. This is not the same text she's sent out to a million other people. So it does connect people. I like to do it when I look decent, which isn't always first thing in the morning when I do my prospecting.
Good stuff. Love that humility, by the way. Now, here's the point, and why I asked that question on video text messages, guys. 55% of our ability to connect with people and truly influence them is based on body language. I mean, it's nonverbal. 38% is based on our voice volume, our pitch, our inflection, our ability to mirror and match, as well as use of pause. And 7% is the words that we use. So if you're sending just text in a text message, you're only leveraging just 7% of your ability to influence them, persuade them. And yet Colette just shared with you 5 text messages every morning to past clients' sphere of influence. And she's going on an average of 3 listing appointments a week, guys, even in this lower inventory market. I'm going to open it up to the group again. What's your number one strategy? Take it away, guys.
Sean, I'm not sure this is a number one strategy, but it's something that's working this week. Is I've kept track of, you get spam emails all the time, right? That I'm looking for homes. Well, I've kept track of those, and I've also kept track of who lowballs my listings, right? Sometimes you put up a junker listing. Not every listing's a luxury. So you put up a 650 listing and you keep getting $500,000 cash offers. Well, you keep a list of those, and then you keep your ear to the ground for those off-market opportunities. And right now I had a referral source come to me. He's like, Rick, I may have somebody who has 13 homes worth 5.2 million, might be willing to sell it as a package. I was able to ping that out smoke signal wise and say, hey, if I could get this, would you be interested? And I've got about 8 investors right now salivating to hear more. Obviously, we're going to go fully to market. We're going to abide by clear cooperation laws, and I don't even have the addresses yet. But nonetheless, I'm like, I've got 13 possible listings. And just the fact that I have interested investors, interested buyers, allows me to walk to the table. Whether you send up that smoke signal or not, it allows me to walk to the table at the listing appointment and say, look, Mr. Seller, you have 13 investment properties. What is your goal, right? And so painting the lifestyle for him. Right now, he doesn't want to sell because he has nowhere to go. But if I say, what's your motivation? How about we bundle these up? We move it to one apartment building with one property manager, and then you can pass that on to your kids in a more seamless manner and still have a good cap rate, and then have the step up in basis, for capital gains. And you run through all the scenarios and you solve a problem. And the problem right now is he's like, well, why would I sell? Because I already have cash coming in. Second of all, what am I going to move it to? The 1031 exchange, one building. Third, make it easier to pass on to your kids. And fourth, I already have 8 cash buyers ready to go, or we can go to market and get full list. So if you get creative, you can create your own inventory.
Okay, great input, Rick. I love it. And what you're really talking about is leveraging the buyers that you've got to get that next listing. Yes? David
Yep.
Torgerson, I know you've grabbed a hold of this concept. You're running with it fast right now. Let's kind of segue over to David. Let's hear how he's leveraging the needs of his buyers to get his next listing. I think that's critically important. Go ahead, David.
Yeah, thanks. So what we started doing is we send stuff out on social media. So we have, and there's a very particular way to do that, and I'll just share that really quick. Is that instead of putting text in your post, get a program so that you can create a JPEG, with a background or whatever, and put the text in there, and then send out the JPEG with the text in it, because the Facebook algorithms will pay more attention to that, and you'll get a higher rating organically than if it's text. So if you're heavy text, they want you to pay for it because they are assuming that you're trying to sell something. Their algorithms are really, for crying out loud, their computers are pretty smart. So if you put it in a JPEG, you get a higher reach with that. So we do that. We do stuff on Instagram. We do stuff with private messaging. And then the one that we have a lot of success with, we just started implementing this, is mailers. And so we are coupling the mailers with a door knocking campaign. And we did that just this last weekend. We've already got 2 listings on this street, and we pulled another listing off of the same street. So now we have 3 listings on, we own the street. So if you drive down the street, like all you see are like, Versant real estate signs. It's actually kind of, triggers my ego a little bit whenever I drive down there. I like it. But the post and what it says is really simple. It just says we have buyers, and then buyer 1, 4-bed, 3-bath, pre-approved, up to 350,000. Buyer number 2, 6-bed, 4-bath, cash to 1.2 million, lakefront. And we just do 3 on each one. But what we did, we just focused at, and this was probably 6 months ago, we focused on just generating or lead generating for buyers. Because what do sellers want? Buyers. You have buyers. What do buyers want? Well, they want sellers. So we just created a full service cycle. So like what you had said too, Sean, is that instead of getting a listing and then you get a buyer and then it goes under contract and then you have to go find another listing and then you got to find another buyer, and it's like this really choppy, it's really uncomfortable. If you focus on leveraging the buyers, then you have like this really nice organic system, and it's a lot easier. It's been amazing, and it works in all types of markets too.
No doubt. What David's talking about is creating that full cycle real estate sales system. Now, most realtors, and let's be honest, they'll work hard. They're going to take a listing, right? So the listing's up here. They advertise that listing. And if you go clockwise, that leads them to buyers. I mean, the natural byproduct of getting a listing is, guys, you get buyers, right? So they get that listing under contract. They work with those buyers, get them under contract. And like David said, it's super clunky. Then they have to go back to lead generate to get that next listing. And it just goes back and forth, right? Here from 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock. Now, what if you advertise the needs of those buyers to attract your next listing? Down at 6 o'clock, you get another listing, right? You advertise that listing. What do you get? Of course, buyers at 9 o'clock. Advertise the buyer's needs, and you get another listing at 12 o'clock. Guys, that creates the full cycle real estate sales system rather than just bouncing back and forth in this clunky, roller coaster kind of a level of production, income, profit, everything else. Here's an example of what David's talking about. I'll just share my screen real quick. This is what I call the DeLuca mailer, guys. I learned it from a guy named Rick DeLuca back in the early 90s, and it works today just like it did back then. So in essence, when you send a direct mail piece, you want to make sure it's clean, it's crisp, right? Because most people, Kevin Yoder, tell me, where do most people sort their mail?
Right at the recycle bin as I walk in the door. That's what I do anyway.
That's exactly right. So we want to make it easy for them to read. It can't be paragraph after paragraph after paragraph of information. It just can't. You got to keep it clean, keep it simple. So large font at the top. Do you know of a home for these buyers? I'm currently showing properties, the following buyers, and you just list them like David Torgerson said, just one at a time. Put 3 buyers on there, put 5 buyers, put 9 buyers on there, yet make sure you're covering the entire market, meaning get a vacant land buyer on there. Get an investor on there that's looking for at least a duplex, if not a 4-unit or 8-unit building. Get a luxury buyer on there. Get the first-time home buyer on there. Get the move-up buyer on your list. Cover that entire price point. And then at the bottom, it says, if you know someone who wants to sell a house that meets the needs of one of my buyers, please call me. And make sure your phone number's the largest thing on the page. This happens to be Sandy Miller, one of our one-on-one coaching clients here. She doesn't even use an envelope. You don't have to, right? So this is the front of it. They fold it over. On the back, it says, do you know? There's a picture of Sandy there. She has her admin put the label here, put the stamp there, put a little bit of tape, here, and just send it out just like that. Make it easy for them to open. They don't even have to open an envelope. And sure, they might sort it over their recycle bin, and that's okay. At least they'll take a look at it. It's another impression. If they're thinking about selling, they're going to analyze the needs of those buyers. And in a perfect world, they're going to call you and say, hey, buyer number 4 on your list looks like a pretty darn good fit for my house. We're thinking about selling. Powerful, powerful strategy to gain listings in any market. Good stuff. All right, Yoder, what is your number 1 strategy?
So we're kicking it old school. We took a script that I actually learned from you. So thank you for this one. We adopted it right away. So this is the congratulations script. You're familiar with that one? And so we're rolling back the dates in the dialer in Mojo and using the data from 2 or 3 years ago. We're using 2019 and later 18 expired listings. And we're calling them a very simple congratulations script and congratulating them on not selling 2 years ago, which is such a pattern interrupt because no other agent's doing that.
Yeah, so they probably have some bad feelings about putting their home to market, sat on the market for 6 months, 2 years ago. It didn't sell it. And in fact, the market rejected their listing. They probably have some negative feelings about this. And yet or you and your team, you're calling them up saying, hey, I'm following up with you real quick because you attempted to sell your home 2 years ago. And I see that you were unsuccessful. I'm calling to congratulate you. See, if you had sold it 2 years ago, do you know how much equity, how much cash you would have left on the table? By the way, do you know what your home would realistically fetch in today's market? And by the way, then there's just a few more questions to this very simple script. Number one, if you were to sell and move, where would you go next? Number two, what's important to you about accomplishing that? Let's get to the emotional trigger, the emotional hot button. And in a perfect world, when would you like that to occur? As you get right to the emotion, you get right to their why, you get right to the timeline and everything else in the process. So calling old expireds. By the way, if you go to landvoice.com/SOAR, SOAR, my company's arranged 30 days of their pro level of data for just $30. Guys, you can't go wrong with this. They're going to give you every for sale by owner, every expired listing. They're going to give you neighborhood data, as well as what's going to become really important here in the very near future, the list of the notice of defaults. It's a great list to lead generate to get that next listing. I'm sure it's going to be brought up today. But again, go to landvoice.com/SOAR. I'll go ahead and type it into the chat for you all. So check it out. 30 days of pro level data for just $30.
And Kevin, I love that script. I'm smiling, I'm taking notes. And since that came from Sean, is there a way people can get that script from you, that congratulations script? Because that just like made me tingle all over. I want to use that today.
Well, I've got a whole list of expired listing scripts there. I don't know that one's on my website yet. You can go to iconcoaching.com, go to the resources and go to free agent tools, or it might say free scripts or something like that. Go ahead and click that. You'll be able to access all those expired listing scripts. Now, in addition to that, you're going to receive the 5 common expired objections. And we're going to give you our suggestion of split tested objection handlers. And we give you several choices per objection, but it's things like, I've decided to stay put, I'm not going to move. Or I'm going to stay with the same agent, right? Or I've decided to take it off the active market and go for sale by owner. I mean, what do you say when people say that? And guys, with mere words, this is one of the things that excites me about real estate sales so darn much, is that with mere words, when you know what to say and you know how to say it, and you say it to enough people, well, you can make millions and millions of dollars per year selling real estate, right? With just words. Isn't that exciting? All right, so let's open it up. Is anybody on the panel, or is anybody doing anything with pre-foreclosures, notice of defaults, or anything like that right now? Or do you see that being a huge segment of the market in the near future?
Absolutely. I actually had an appointment the other day. I went to an appointment where a woman has been in forbearance for the last 10 months. And she saw that I had sold a house in her neighborhood. She called me up and she said, before this forbearance is done, I need to know what I have to do to sell my home, because I don't want to get foreclosed upon, and I haven't been able to be employed viably like I was before, so I can't afford my payments. So of course I went in there, checked it out, and thankfully with the brokerage that I'm with, we were able to bring her an instant cash offer. But we gave her options, right? To talk a little bit about what she could do to get the house ready for market, what her range was. And it turned out the best thing for her was to have a quick offer before forbearance was lifted, so she didn't have to go through foreclosure. So I'm seeing it in my marketplace in Atlanta, and I think we're going to see a lot more in August, September, October of this calendar year.
Yeah, I can see that as a huge lead magnet for seller leads, by the way. Are you currently in forbearance, and do you know the terms of your forbearance agreement? For a private, independent consultation, pick up the phone, give us a call at this phone number, because a lot of these people that got into forbearance, they don't realize that maybe their mortgage company, because it wasn't controlled by the government. There's no agency over this from my perspective. If they're in forbearance, the lender, this enterprise lender, could do whatever terms they wanted in the forbearance. And many of them, from what I understand, are stating, yeah, you're in forbearance. However, once the forbearance is lifted, that month you must bring the mortgage payments current right then and there. Guys, and many of the people will not be able to do that. They'll be forced into a refinance position. And if they haven't been able to obtain gainful employment, they're not going to be able to refinance either. So they're going to be in a have to sell situation.
Friends don't let friends get foreclosed on, right? So as a real estate agent in your marketplace and you know your market, you should be contacting everybody in your sphere and just talking about the market and what the positives are and what the challenges you see that are coming in the next few months.
Yeah, so Kevin, I know that HomeLight's working really well for you guys in listing lead generation in this market. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so it really is. It's a kind of surprise to us that we started off in January and our HomeLight leads were picking up. And I thought, well, gosh, is this really where we want to go? And we just, it's working. So I would be remiss if I didn't share that. And the thing about HomeLight though, is you got to be on top of it. And so we are very, very much on top of it. We have to track the status of the lead. We update it constantly. We let them know how we're doing. We give them all the data they need. And that requires a system and people behind you to help you do that. It's because you're rewarded on not only conversion, of course, they want to make sure you're converting, but also updates and speed to lead. You got to get on them right away. So we're doing all of that really well and it's working for us. So I don't know if anybody has the ability to get in there, but grab the territories and just go as deep as, and we actually are going deep and wide with it because listings is the name of the game. We're getting a lot of listings. It's our number one lead source right now. And a year ago, that surprises me that I'm telling you that. So for what it's working.
We've got a question from the audience. What is HomeLight?
Yeah. So, and the reason why it's working is a lot of the traditional lead sources are not working. For example, our traditional radio advertising, we have to pivot with that and change the message and it's constantly like a mad scientist figuring out what's going to pull. And so we actually backed off on our country station. We're going to go into talk radio starting June 1st and getting some more conservative talk going. But I think it's working because obviously the person that's going on HomeLight is they advertise heavily and it's based on SEO and people are searching. They're searching for what's the best agent in my town or and they advertise more than others. So when someone searches, they're actively looking to sell their property. And if your position as the number one agent in your area, you're top of mind. And truth be told, I think they get three agents that are served up to them. I just don't pay attention to that. We just go for it. So HomeLight is a company that is there to collect referral fees. And
so there's no upfront fees, nothing
right.
out of pocket, right? And
Yeah.
yet they're going to collect 35% of the gross commission income. And guys, oftentimes 65% of a loaf of bread is better than no bread at all, right?
Well, you look at the cost of acquisition of a listing and we have to factor something in there. I'm willing to pay that, right? Especially right now, because each listing in the ground, if properly marketed, as we all know, from the data going way back to MREA, it'll beget 2 or 3 other opportunities. So yeah, the numbers make sense.
Undoubtedly. Well, guys, if you do your business right, most of your listing leads and referrals should come from your sphere of influence. Now, by the way, if you don't have at least 200 people in your sphere of influence, I'd say get there as fast as you can. A couple of memory jogger tips for you. Number one, go through every contact in your cell phone. Make sure that you've got them integrated into your CRM platform, adding them to a touch campaign. Okay, so cell phone contacts. Next, go to your social media channels. Look at all your friends on social. Are they in your database and are you communicating with them systematically? And then third, if you're not at 200 yet, I'd be shocked yet. If you're not, I would encourage you just go to yellowpages.com. Look at the different categories and industries in which companies can advertise at Yellow Pages. And it's a memory jogger exercise. Like, for example, A's, you get to attorney. Most of you know an attorney. My question to you is, are they in your database? And are you consistently nurturing them? Are you communicating with them systematically? Get to B's, like your barber, your beautician. Think about it. They have 30 people in that chair talking to them every single day. You should be bragging about your successes to them. Not in a way that's egotistical, but communicating with them, letting them know you're in real estate. By the way, as a sidebar comment, if you get a referral from somebody who works in an environment like that, send them flowers, send them chocolate, send them something, right, to their place of business. They'll display it proudly. And of course, all the other people that work there and everybody who comes in says, oh, you got flowers. Was that from your boyfriend, your husband? No. It's from my real estate agent. Let me tell you about them, right? So good stuff. Great stuff. What are you guys doing to nurture your sphere of influences?
I'll jump in here. So, I know Dave, so let's share this one. So this is something that has always worked for us, and it's working more now than ever before. Is I do a lot of videos. So I'm sending out, I used to do one video a month. It's a video blog that hits our entire database of 27,000 contacts. And now I'm doing it once a week because there's so much more I feel to talk about. There's so much more to share. Real estate's top of mind with so many people. And I think this is something that a lot of agents struggle with. Content, getting behind a camera, sharing, all these things, like they're nervous. I would encourage you to get over that real quickly. And the other thing about the content is I have it sitting in my inbox right now. This is how I do it. So let me share this. Is I have an email that came from a company called Residential Realty Today Weekly. I have no idea how I got that, but we all get versions of that. So I'm looking through the trending articles right now. The top 3, I'm going to take each one of these and turn it into a video. Number 1 is mortgage rates managed to another dip to 2.94. Ooh, that's a video right there, right? 3 graphs showing why you should sell your house now. Ooh, that's a great video. And third, building materials continue to set records high. So there, right within that email, I've been given 3 weeks of video material that I'm going to send out to my database. And the reason why video works is for the reasons we talked about a few minutes ago. They get to see you as a professional, the conveyance of a message in a very expert way. And the other thing is, other people aren't doing it. And so they get a chance to see you authentically for who you are as the expert. It's the same reason why radio interviews done right are extremely effective. And in Colette, you probably know this as well, is because you're positioned as the expert. And so if you don't have an opportunity to be on television or radio, then position yourself as an expert through video. I'm so surprised that, and I tell my agents this, back when I started in real estate a very long time ago, we used to run massive display ads in the newspaper, the Grand Rapids Press, for Sunday open houses. And I would spend $400 on a stupid ad that was this big, color, and I got 0 calls. I said, now you can walk into an open house on a Sunday, turn your phone on and become an expert instantly. You're on television. It's called Facebook Live. And so we have all these things available to us today that didn't exist back then. And so many agents aren't taking advantage of it, and for the wrong reasons. So video.
Well, video is a must, guys. In today's world, in fact, 98% of the content that Facebook's going to get behind, Instagram's going to get behind, is video based. I mean, David, the next level down from video would be a photo, like you were talking about, JPEG image, and text would be the last thing you want to do, right? Yet in filming video, you're creating what we call a parasocial relationship, meaning that the person on screen, unbeknownst to them, somebody's forming a relationship with them. Like, for example, I feel like sometimes I know, like Jennifer Aniston would be a great example. I feel like I know her as a person. I've never met her. I wouldn't mind, yet I've never met her. And yet she has no clue who I am, you understand? So it used to be, it was on the big screen, then it was our televisions. And now we've got these little devices that allow you and I to create a parasocial relationship with individuals in the marketplace where they feel that they know you. They begin to like you. They begin to trust you. And if they're thinking about real estate, you want them to think you. Powerful strategy to gain listings in today's market, no doubt.
Sean, wait, coupling on that and piggybacking on what Kevin said, your MLS typically sends out a report too on market updates, right? And so rather than just blast that out or put out an infographic, quickly do a screen share, use Zoom as your recorder, and you can interpret it for your people. Because where you provide expertise and where you make a real estate agent invaluable and part of the commission conversation is by interpreting and analyzing and translating for your clientele. You've been doing this for years, they have not. So if you can take that little infographic that the MLS sends out and share with it what it means, the days on market, the months of inventory, why prices are going up, and provide, and say, hey, interest rates have gone down, so this is what I think is going to happen to the market. Contact me for evaluation on how local sales are affecting your home value. And then you can, again, leverage someone else's content for your benefit and get on video.
Makes sense to me. Now, one of the easiest ways to add value to your marketplace through video would be a strategy that I would call the 52-week video content strategy. I learned this from a guy named Grant Wise, the founder of Real Estate Marketing University, who is a digital marketing genius, where you start supporting local businesses right in your own backyard. Where, let's say you have a coffee shop owner. I'm not talking about Starbucks or one of these big conglomerates, right? I'm talking about that local business owner. See, because every local business owner, they suffer from the same problems. What do you suppose that is? That's right, guys. It's lack of exposure, right? Sure, they can pay for that exposure. It'll cost them tens of thousands of dollars per month to become the known company in your backyard who does this. You can help them absolutely free of charge. So you go to this coffee shop owner and you say, listen, I want to help you do more business. Would that be okay with you? And here's what I want to do. I want you to give me, say, a $50 gift card just for free. And what I'd like to do is interview you on a video. And I'm going to share it with all my friends on social channels. We're going to raffle off this gift card in 3 days' time. And all they have to do to win this gift card is share the post on their newsfeed and comment below. That's all they have to do. They're entered to win this gift card. Okay. Now, with this video strategy, there's very little mention of real estate. In fact, it's only in the intro and the outro, meaning, hi, I'm Sean Kokoska. I'm with eXp Realty. And today I'm going to be interviewing John Doe, the founder of our local coffee shop. In fact, he's going to be giving away a $50 gift card that we're going to raffle off in 3 days' time. All you have to do to win it is comment below, share this on your news feed. You're entered to win. And we're going to do this on Facebook Live Thursday afternoon at 2 o'clock. Now, John, I just want you to tell your story. How'd you get into the coffee business? And you just have 3 or 4 questions that you're going to ask John. Let him tell his story. For example, these questions would be simple things like, what's your signature drink here, right? How'd you get into the coffee business? How long have you been in business? How'd you come up with the name, right? What are you most passionate about in what you do? And then the outro. Once again, guys, I'm Sean Kokoska with eXp Realty, and we're going to be raffling off this gift card in just 3 days' time. Go ahead and comment below and share this on your newsfeed. You'll be entered to win. By the way, next week, I'm going to be interviewing Jane Doe. She's the founder of our local gym right here in our backyard. And she's going to tell us all the reasons why we should be working out at her facility. See you then. Simple, right? And guys, it's maybe 3 to 5 minutes. That's all. Yet the key to this strategy is consistency. See, the only way that these business owners, these influential people in your backyard can repay you is by doing what?
Referrals.
Of course. Yeah.
Referrals, no doubt about it. So the key here is though consistency. You do it every single week and you can bank 5, 6, 7 videos at a time to have that content and just release it the same day, same time every week. And people will start looking forward to it. And I promise you, if you did this for 60 days in a row, that you couldn't even go to the grocery store without people saying, you're that realtor, aren't you? Because think about the viral effect. That business owner, they're going to share it on their social channels with all of their friends. No doubt they're going to see that. They're going to want to win the gift card. They'll comment below, they'll share it, and it goes to all their friends. They may want to win this gift card. They're going to comment below. They're going to share it. You understand? And it helps you create this powerful, omnipresent brand in your localized market area, guys. Great strategy. All right, so let's go back to sphere of influence. I don't think we've gone quite deep enough there because in a market like today, or any market for that matter, the key is to get as close to your sphere of influence as you possibly can. So what else are you guys doing to get close to that SOI, which is an acronym, right? SOI stands for source of income. What are you doing?
Well, I think, Sean, I'll jump in. The first thing on SOI, and this is really beneficial for me too. So I've been doing this for 15 years, and I never really was able to actually define what my SOI was. You know, I'm like, well, I don't know. I think I have a really big SOI, don't I? I don't know. So and I think it was you that helped me with this, that we defined SOI as anybody that you can ask a favor of. So if you can call them up and be like, hey, I got a favor. Could you help me with something? Like they're in your sphere of influence. That was really beneficial. And so that's actually what we do, is that I call people up in our sphere of influence and I'm like, hey, as you are fully well aware of, our inventory is really, really low. Have you heard of anybody that's thinking about selling a home anytime in the near future? That's it. Most of the time the answer is no. No, I haven't heard of anybody. Would you do me a giant favor? And it comes with the promise, and I will repay you somehow. I will. I'm good for it. If you could do a little bit of research and just ask around for me, could you help me find a listing? I'm behind on my goal, because all my sphere of influence people are business owners. So when you let them know like you're behind on your goal, that triggers them because they're like, oh, like I've been behind on my goal one time too. Like I didn't like how that felt. So they're triggered in a way to actually help me. And it's really effective. And what we do, because I live in Montana, I mean, when we do nice stuff, it's like, hey, here's a prime rib. It came from one of the local ranches. Like if they do something like really big, it's like, here's a half a beef, here's a pig, here's we pay in meat up here.
We
There's
pay
effective.
in meat. I think that needs to be a tagline somewhere. We
Yeah.
pay in meat.
Meat and ammunition.
I've got a good one for y'all. I love giving out tips like this too. For your sphere of influence, past clients, I discovered this great company called EvaBot, and I don't know if there's some ladies in the world watching us right now, but we get these boxes every once in a while called Fit and Fabulous. If you guys haven't bought these for your wife, you might want to do this because you basically have a subscription fee at Fit Fabulous. And they send out 4 times a year a box that has everything that a specific magazine is interested and excited about. Like a new concealer or a new bath bomb or something that it has to do with what we ladies like. So I took that idea and I put it into my real estate world. And I worked with this company called EvaBot and had a box designed with my logo. And basically I ordered 250 of them. They keep them in the warehouse. And every single time that I want to send a client a gift, it's not just something that hasn't, is flowers or something like that. It's actually coming to them in a box specially designed with my logo and my information. So if I get somebody that, like last week, we did a big commercial for my company here in Georgia, and I used like 5 of my past clients. It was so funny because the videographer actually called these clients because he had read all the reviews I had on Zillow and Google and asked them from him if they could shoot in their house. We just wanted their front doors, but all of these clients were so appreciative of what I had done for them in the past. They let them shoot in their houses for like half a day. So I thought, oh my gosh, what am I going to send these people for being so kind? I just loaded up this big box of goodies from this company called EvaBot, and you can choose from anything from technologies to chocolate to socks to dog things to earbuds. There's all sorts of things you can choose from, but it comes from me. And every single time they get a box that says my name on it with new fun stuff, they like post it and they're like, look what my agent sent me. How cool is this? So keeping up the brand, keeping up that engagement, it can be a $25 gift, it can be a $250, it can be a $500 gift, but you have this opportunity just to order them all, have them stored in the warehouse, and every time that you want to make a little bit more of a touch point besides the phone calls, besides the text or the video, as a thank you, they're available for you. And so I have my really good clients actually on a quarterly Colette box.
Quarterly Colette box. I love it. Now, keep in mind, the IRS is only going to let you to deduct $25 per client. Just keep it in mind. Yet so many times that client is worth more than $25, right?
Absolutely. It's not meat or ammunition. I wish I could throw some meat in there.
You could do it. I'm sure they would.
Some beef jerky.
Right.
Yeah, just have them throw in a chunk of dry ice. Problem solved.
There you go.
Hey, Sean, I'm going to leverage on the favor that David was talking about. And this can work for a new agent. This can also work for an experienced agent. When you're going through the Forge script and you're calling your sphere of influence, and you should be touching base with your sphere at least once a quarter, be a phone call, if not once a month. You can say, hey, look, I'm trying out some new software. Can I ask you a quick little favor? Do you ever check your home value on Zillow or some other site to see how sales in the neighborhood are affecting your home value? And almost everybody's going to say yes, right? Because they're going to go on some site to get a home value and say, look, I'm experimenting with some new software that I think blows the doors off of Zillow for home value. Can I double check it? Can I send it to you for a couple of months via email? And you just tell me whether you think that's more accurate than Zillow or not. Could I put in your address? And so you put in their address, now you've got their phone number, cell phone, their cell phone, email, and physical address. And now once a month from any one of like 50 different vendors, they're going to get a home valuation from you automatically, reinforcing that you are the real estate expert.
Excellent. Well, it's all about brand building, right? Now, what is marketing, guys? It's really a battle for the consumer's mind. Your goal is to make certain that when they think real estate, they think you, undoubtedly. And I think that this idea of customers for life, these raving fans, or what I love to call bird dogs that scare the business up for you, I think it starts from the inception of the relationship. And it's all through the initial counseling session or the listing presentation to the post purchase pre-close phase, and what you're doing there to really position yourself long term in their mind, and what you do after the close, no doubt about that. Now, what I always recommend here at Icon Coach is a 36 touch campaign. How many of you guys have something like a 36 or 33 touch campaign engaged in your CRM? Yeah, see, guys, the smart ones do it because they recognize it's about staying in touch after the close. And the sales cycle is an average of about 8 years before they're going to come back to you, right? So you got to stay front of mind. And a lot of agents say, yeah, Sean, that sounds great. 36 touch campaign, I'm going to do it. And then, of course, life happens. They get busy with other things and they never get around to actually implementing it. So I just want to demonstrate how easy this actually is, guys. It's very simple. It starts with reverse engineering it. What if you said, okay, 12 of these 36 touches, they're going to be direct mail. I'm going to take that idea that David Torgerson shared with me about advertising the needs of my buyers through direct mail once per month. And I'm going to do that the first Thursday of every month. The second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the third Thursday of every month, and I'm going to blast out an e-newsletter, which encourages them to engage in what's my home value. I'm looking to buy a home or invest in real estate. Or look at client testimonies, a good example. And you're highlighting certain listings. And within this e-newsletter, you're putting forward articles sourced through like realtor.com or Fast 50 or Fortune 500, whatever the case is, or Forbes, where you find a real estate related article online, you attach it to a picture. See, when you send it out through MailChimp, then when they click on that article, like for example, avoid the 9 common mistakes many house sellers make before they list their home for sale. It's an example of an article. If they click on the picture to download and read that article, MailChimp's going to tell you who clicked on that article. It segments your list. See, I don't know about you. I would never click on an article like that if I weren't thinking about selling my house. So it allows you to take a large email distribution list and boil it down to those that probably have some interest, right? Or how to simplify the home buying process. Click here. 3 steps you should take if you're thinking of investing in real estate. Click here. Guys, it segments your list for you, and you're going to blast it out the third Thursday of every month. So remember, you wanted 36 touches, 12 direct mail, 12 e-newsletters that you're blasting out. All of a sudden, you're down to 12 touches remaining. 4 of those should be personal phone calls from you. Personal phone calls from you. And by the way, just contact 2 letters of the database every single week, meaning your last name begins with A or B. I'm going to call you this week, C or D next week, E and F the next week, so on and so forth. You'll reach out to everybody in your sphere of influence 4 times per year. When you do that, now you're down to 8 touches. Should you maybe do a Thanksgiving card expressing gratitude for the opportunity to earn their business? Could you do an April Fool's Day card? Think about it. When's the last time you got an April Fool's Day card? Doesn't happen, right? It gives you that point of differentiation. It's probably the first one they've ever received in their life. And it says something like, I never want to work with you again. They open it up, April Fools, I would love to earn your repeat and referral business. Something like that. I know it's cheesy, but guess what? It works. Now you're down to 6 touches, right? Could you do a quarterly, just a direct message on social channel to this individual? Of course you could. Just do 2 letters of the alphabet every single week. So you start with A's and B's with the phone calls. You can start with L and M on the direct messages, right? Well, now you're down to 2 touches, maybe a customer appreciation event. Maybe it's a birthday phone call or a home anniversary phone call, something like that. So guys, when you reverse engineer this and then build a calendar, stick to the calendar, it's really quite simple. See, right now you should get as close to that sphere of influence as you possibly can. No doubt about that. All right, any other thoughts, comments, suggestions for our audience today? How can you do a listing right now? Go ahead, David. Sorry.
You just touched on the one thing that I was going to say in the very beginning, and it's the most important thing, in my opinion, anyway, that you can do as far as lead generation around listings, and that's time blocking. And that's actually block the time out in your schedule to do the stuff, to do the lead generation for the listings, whatever it looks like. I mean, it could be anything. It could be, walking around a neighborhood. It could be business to business. It could be cold calling. It could be sending mailers out. It could be hitting people with PMs on Facebook. Like, it could be whatever. Like, it doesn't, honestly, like this has been my experience with it. It doesn't really matter what you do, so long as you do it. Like you just have to do it. And once upon a time, in early on in my career, just so everybody here on the panel and everybody that's in this webinar can fully understand, like I was not always like this. Um, I was sort of like, I don't know, I was like this wild animal of a real estate agent. I'd like run over here and I would do this and I would do that and I would do all these other things, and at the end of the day, I would look at the results and I had no results. And so when I learned about time blocking, it sounds really daunting, but I do 15-minute time blocks because I don't know, maybe I'm ADHD. I have no idea. Actually, I know I'm not. They tested me for that and I'm not. But
not that there's anything wrong with it.
not that there's anything wrong with that. I was looking for answers. I'm like, why does my attention span only go 15 minutes? And that's just the way God made me. So I do 15-minute time blocks and I reward myself with something fun. So I'll do 15 minutes. I'll go get a cup of coffee. I come back, I do another 15 minutes, I have a granola bar, another 15 minutes, I take the dog for a walk. But in those 15-minute time blocks, I'm doing the things that I said that I was going to do. And that's it, so cold calls, which I love, by the way. And I'll just share my cold call script just super quick.
Please.
Yeah, ring. This is David Torgerson. I'm a real estate broker here in town, and I get it. Like this is totally awkward, and like you don't know me, and I don't know you. The question that I have, just very quickly, have you been thinking about selling your home anytime in the near future? That's it. And the dialogue is always opened up because you gave them permission to be awkward because they're awkward. And if it's awkward for you, then you're telling them that it's awkward for you too. And if you're dealing with a nice person, they're going to be like, oh, that's sweet.
Well, look at it like this, guys. 90% of anything is just showing up. Seriously. To have that fire in your belly to pick up the phone and make it happen. And those of you that are doing it consistently are the ones that are going to double, triple, quadruple your production. Now, a lot of times in working with my one-on-one coaching clients, I'll ask a question, did this get done? Whatever this is, did it get done over the last week like you promised it would? And oftentimes the answer is, oh, I didn't get to it. I didn't get it done. My immediate question is it in your schedule? Guys, if it's not in your schedule, frankly, it just does not exist, okay? You got to time block the time. Treat it like $1 million listing appointment. Seriously. I mean, you wouldn't be late to that type of appointment, would you? Nor would you no-show that appointment and just not show up at all. Of course, you're going to show up. Treat it like $1 million listing appointment. And it's going to bring you many millions of dollars in sales volume over the course of your career. No doubt about that. So David, thanks for going deeper on that. Go ahead, Rick.
Yeah, sorry. There are four lead sources I almost forgot to mention that were not available to me for the 16 years that I was an independent broker. And since joining the Libertas group at EXP, I now have been express offer certified. So I can make cash offers for home and I can use that to get in the door with somebody. REO certified, relocation certified. And now I also have 54,000 agents around the globe that I can refer business to. So literally when I'm talking to my sphere, I'm no longer just limited to Denver. I can get now referred deals, commercial, residential around the globe to 54,000 other agents. And that's a way to get listings and buyers.
Now, wait a minute. That's one of the best lead magnets, guys. Some of the clients that I've coached in the past, or even right now, like Chris Waters, great example, worked with his team, over 5,500 transactions last year alone. Mark Spain, over 7,500 transactions last year alone. Guys, they all have a very similar lead magnet. It's the cash offer. Now, many agents don't do that because they don't have the financial wherewithal to pull that off, nor do they have an investor backing them up to make it happen. So Rick, tell us about how it is through your brokerage, you're able to give cash offers. And by the way, what's the financial liability on your part?
So just quickly, and sorry, I've got a little noise going in the background, but the Express Offers program, EXP doesn't use EXP's money, but they've identified buyers in every local market that are willing to pay cash for homes. And they've got different buy boxes. And the buy box is, if it fits in this box, I'll buy it. So they've quickly identified, hey, whether it's 80% of ARV, which is after repaired value, or 70% of ARV. And if it meets this criteria and it's not on a yellow line, or if it's not on a red light, or if it doesn't have train tracks in the backyard, they've identified what they will buy pretty much sight unseen. But when I go in to and I tell someone, hey, if I could get a cash offer for your house today, would you be interested in selling? it opens the door. Now we know only about 4%, 7% of people actually accept cash offers nationwide, regardless of who's offering them. But it gives me a foot in the door to say, hey, I can show you this model and I'll run it through the system. I'll take some pictures of your home. I'll submit it into the buy box. Within 2 days, I'll get an answer back and we can close in 10 days. Or I can take you to market and here are my comps for market. And here's what I think we could get if you have the patience and the time and the ability to withstand showings, et cetera, right? It's a different environment right now. So some people want to avoid the pandemic. Some people want to avoid showings, masks or no masks. And they say, hey, just give me the cash offer. I need out, right? I just want to be out of my house. Other people are going to say, well, wait a minute. If I could show my house maybe one weekend and sell it for 20,000 more, maybe I'll go that route and you'll get the full 6% or whatever commission you charge in your market. So it's just an interesting ability because the beautiful thing is EXP is not using their own money. They've identified 2 to 5, maybe even 10 buyers in the local market that are very hungry, established. They've done over 50 deals a year. They know they can close. They have cash reserves. They are well-respected investor buyers, and I can leverage their money to get an opening to get in the door.
And you know what I love about that, Rick, what you just said is that there's so many big companies out there that are advertising that. And those are the big companies trying to take the place of the real estate agent. And you as a real estate agent who've aligned yourself with this brokerage have the opportunity to have these investors behind you and you can go head to head with these companies trying to take our commissions.
Yeah, so we're talking about the iBuyer program. Undoubtedly, companies like Zillow, Redfin, Open Door, they're wholesale offers, guys. There's no doubt about that. Yet they're as is cash offers. Many people, like if you inherited a property outside of the state and you don't want to have to deal with the remodel, the staging, or anything like that, you might just want to take that cash offer. But the whole purpose of marketing, as I'd mentioned, like with Chris Waters, with Mark Spain, guys, the whole purpose of marketing is get people step forward, raise their hand, and say, "I'm interested in what you have to offer. I'd like my cash offer." And as Rick said, about only 3% of them are actually going to accept the cash offer. However, you're sitting in front of them presenting a cash offer. You follow me on this, right? 97% reject the cash offer. And if you're the real estate agent sitting across the table from them saying, you don't have to accept this offer, yet if you do, you're going to pay a premium for immediate liquidation. If you choose to, though, you can take it to the open market with me. And based on the comparable data, here's what you could fetch. Here's your closing costs. Here's what you would net. Obviously, so much more than this cash offer. Given the two choices, which would you prefer?
Here's the funny story on that. Here's the funny story on that, Sean, that happened to me. My wife got a letter and she wants to sell a house with a letter with the realtor that mailed her as opposed to me, and I'm her husband, a realtor. But the letter in this brilliant marketing said this: I'm going to pay you full market value for your house, and you can live in your house for up to 3 months after you sell it, and you won't have to have any showings. So why did she want to accept that offer, which I can give her, by the way? But why did she want to accept that offer? Because that offer hit all of her pain points, right? And it relieved them all. No showings, full market value. You're gonna have the certainty of selling, and you can live while you shop for a new home. And the letter that way, if it relieved all her pain points, why not sell?
No doubt about that. All right, guys, at the beginning of this webinar, I talked a little bit about aligning with our community to let all of us pour into one another to improve our knowledge, our skills, mindset, habits. If you want to learn what it takes, and if you qualify to be coached for free through Icon Producers and align with this group to not only extract value, yet add value, all you need to do is go to meetwithicons.com. Meetwithicons.com. You're going to see many choices in group formats that you can engage in just to learn about joining our community, our culture. So go ahead and do that right now. Meetwithicons.com. Go ahead and complete the Calendly link. We'll send you reminders to show up and things like that. And yeah, let's talk about what it takes to improve your production, your profit, and most importantly, your net worth through this process. So gang, I'm going to wrap this up about 5 minutes early today because I do have a big thing happening in about 6 minutes. What final thoughts, words of wisdom do you want to share with the group?
I just wanted to say this, in what you were just saying, since I've aligned with you guys, my business has grown. And it's because I live in a community where there aren't people that have, I don't have access to this here, but I have access to it here with you guys. So I just wanted to say thanks.
Yeah, I'll double that. Is you know, we all know our net worth is determined by our network. And so what I share with my coaching clients is that our environment shapes our futures more than our heredity or genetics. And so that's the same, we're saying the same thing. You get around high flyers and you're going to fly higher. And that's exactly what's happening here. You start to hear these conversations are higher level conversations, but having them 2 or 3 or 4 times a week is far different than going to a conference, you know, flying to Austin, Texas once a year, which I used to do for 10 years. That stuff goes away real fast, right? So that's what I wanted to share with you. It's that constant space repetition of the idea. It's going back to what Sean was talking about with how marketing works. It's constant space repetition, tap, 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 tap. And we get to have those conversations every day. That's what's been really beneficial for me.
Yeah. So guys, we do this every 2 weeks, live webinars. You're already in our database now, so you're going to receive an invitation for the next webinar. Here's my input. Go ahead and register to make that happen. Additionally, I'm going to ask that you go to Facebook, look up our private group. It's Icon Producers. Just look it up. Request to become a member. You'll see all kinds of webinars and just valuable content on not only how to generate listings, how to win in multiple offer scenarios and lead generation strategies, tactics, lead conversion opportunities, things like that. And the last thing that I want to offer to you is go to iconcoaching.com. Go to the resources tab. Some of you asked about scripts and things like that in the chat and through the Q&A. Go to free agent scripts. And what you're going to see, there's 35 videos there for you to watch and implement some of these, the what to say, the how to say it. Because really at the end of the day, guys, there's 3 things we can control in this industry. We can control what we say, we can control how we say it, and we can control how many people we say it to. And if you want more appointments, which I know you do, you just need to create more conversations. Guys, with that, I'm going to let you all run. Thank you for your investment of time. Thanks for listening to us. And until next time, just be on purpose, be productive, and as always, be powerful. Thank you to our panelists. Once again, you guys added significant value to our audience. Thank you so much. Look forward to seeing you guys again in 2 weeks. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.